Hello, Sarah here from smallbusinesssarah.com, and today I'm going to show you how to tie out your profit and loss of Etsy sales that you'll have in QuickBooks Online Simple Start to the 1099 that you will receive from Etsy. So the first thing to mention is that the profit and loss information in QuickBooks Online Simple Start, the way that these numbers were derived and added into QuickBooks follows my Etsy bookkeeping method that you can find. I'll put a little card in the top. You can get to that video first. So this video presumes that you have been following my method for doing your Etsy bookkeeping. So if you haven't, these numbers, who knows how you got them, they may not tie to the 1099. But if you have been following my method, you're going to be in good shape, and I'm going to show you how you will tie to the 1099. Okay? So if you need to go back and follow my method throughout the year, then go ahead and do that first. Okay, so I have two examples for you that I've brought into our sample company here. I've got Etsy Shop Example A, and I've got Etsy Shop Example B. So one of them will tie, Example A ties perfectly to the 1099 right away. And Example B has a small difference that I'm going to explain why and how to resolve it. Okay, so here's Example A. Etsy sales of $178,000, refunds of $8,000, and shipping income of $30,000 for a total of $200,191. So I'm going to pull up the 1099. So here is the 1099 for Example A, and the 1099 can be found in Etsy under Finances, Legal, and Tax, and you just scroll down to the bottom, and this is the number that is your Etsy 1099 number, the big total at the bottom. Okay, so that's where we're getting our information from Etsy, and let me walk you through how that ties out. So here's our Example A. From the profit and loss, we had Etsy sales, that was our number, refunds, shipping income, and that was our total. So our total, $200,191.97. Let's double check. $200,191.97. Yes, we have pulled over the right numbers to tie out. The 1099 number is before refunds. So that's something very important to keep in mind. So that's why right here, the number that we're going to use to tie out to the 1099 is just our sales and shipping number. Sales and shipping, which equals a total of $208,000. And we're not including refunds. You'll still put the refunds on your Schedule C. You won't be paying taxes on your refunds, but the 1099 is reported to you before refunds, okay? So that's why sales plus shipping only. Then we need to add in any sales tax we have collected. So for a lot of you, this number is going to be zero. This example here is from a Florida seller who does collect sales tax throughout the year from Florida residents. So I went through all of the monthly journal entries that we did, and I added up all of the sales tax amounts that Etsy remitted to us throughout the year, and that was the total. So once again, you'll know what I mean when I say I went through all the journal entries and found the sales tax number if you've been following my method. If you haven't, backtrack and watch those videos first. So a lot of states now have adopted the Marketplace Facilitator Tax Law, which requires platforms, marketplaces like Etsy, to collect sales tax on behalf of their state for all sales made. Florida has not done that yet, so that's why this shop is still collecting sales tax. Some of the Marketplace Facilitator tax laws were adopted mid-year, so you may have some small amount this year for sales tax that Etsy collected and remitted to you. This is only sales tax they remitted to you. But eventually down the line, this number will probably be 0 for most people. If not now, then in the future. So then when we add those two numbers together, we get 2010 529.01, and the 1099 was 2000 529.01. So we tie exactly to the 1099. It's such a good feeling. And if you're handing off your profit and loss to your accountant, just kind of show them this little breakdown that you did. Tell them what numbers you added together to tie to the 1099, and they will just love you for that. All right, let's move on to example B, which has a little bit of a difference. So Etsy example B, income, Etsy sales of 72, refunds of 1,300, and shipping income of 1,100 for a grand total of 72,720. So once again, this is from our profit and loss report for the entire year of 2020 that we've run in QuickBooks Online Simple Start. And we have followed my method for recording income and fees throughout the year. So now let's pull up our example here. Ignore this half of the screen for the moment, okay? So example B, here's our Etsy sales, our refunds, our shipping income. Okay, lovely. That agrees with our total that we have on our profit and loss. When we add sales tax plus sales plus shipping, we get 74,098. So once again, we're not including refunds because your 1099 number is before refunds. And here we have a piddly amount of sales tax collected just from the beginning of the year when their state was switching over to that marketplace facilitator tax law. And Etsy only remitted about $36 in sales tax to this seller. Now their 1099, let's take a look at that. 74,244.41. Okay, back to our example. 74,244.41. And we have a difference of $109.50. So in the grand scheme of things, this difference is not a big deal. But I'm going to show you exactly why we have a difference so you can have confidence in my method for Etsy shop bookkeeping. Because as I've said in other videos, I truly think it's the best, easiest, fastest, and most accurate way to do your Etsy shop bookkeeping. Okay, so why do we have this difference? And the reason lies in other reports. Okay, this is the Etsy payment sales CSV file for all of 2020. And you can find this report in Settings, Options, Download Data. Just select Payment Sales, don't select a month, and then select 2020. This is the report that the 1099 figure is derived from. So all I did is I froze that top row and I summed this gross amounts column. And you will notice that this figure in the gross amount column agrees to the 1099. Remember, here, let me pull that up again. 74,244.41. 74,244.41. It agrees. So this Etsy payment sales report is what Etsy is using to come up with the 1099 figure that they give you. Okay? And follow these instructions to find it in your own shop. But look at this last sale. Lo and behold, $109.50. The last sale of the year, that is our difference in tying to the 1099. So if we look over here, the order date was 12/31, okay? So they ordered the product on December 31st. But the funds available date was 1/1 of 2021. And that is why we have our difference, okay? If you are familiar with my method for Etsy bookkeeping, you'll know that we rely a lot on the Etsy statement CSV file. So let's go take a look at that. The Etsy statement CSV file, this is in your shop payment account. Okay, so if you go to Finances, Payment Account, that's where you download this Etsy statement for the month that you would like to download the statement for. So I downloaded the January 2021 statement from the shop payment account. And that is where this sale appears that was made on December 31st, but it doesn't get included on the shop payment account statement until January. So, once again, maybe I'm beating a dead horse here. This report for all of 2020 is what ties to the 1099. It includes a sale that was made on 12/31, but that sale does not appear on the statement until January. And we use the statement, so we would have used the Etsy statement for December of 2020 when we did our Etsy December of 2020 entry, like we do every month. We make our Etsy entry at the end of every month, and we would have used the December 2020 statement. And that 109.50 wouldn't have been there. It doesn't show up until January of 2021. So then your question would be, well, actually, let me backtrack one moment. So that's why we have a difference. That's our 109.50. It's the sale. It's the sale that's missing from our December statement that doesn't appear until our January statement. So then your question to me might be, well, then, Sarah, when you do your Etsy entry every month, why aren't you using the shop payment account? Not shop payment account, the payment sales report, the one that the 1099 is derived from. This one. Why aren't we using this one for a monthly entry if this is the one that agrees to the 1099? And the reason why we use the statement CSV file from the shop payment account every month is so that we can tie to the ending Etsy balance per Etsy and then per the Etsy bank account in QuickBooks. You'll know from my video that that's an important step because it tells us that we have done everything correctly. And if we were using a different report, we're not going to tie to that ending Etsy balance, and that's like our checks and balances. That is our cue that we really have done everything correctly. So that's why we still continue to use the Etsy statement report, and it also contains all the other information, the fees that we need to record our Etsy information accurately in QuickBooks every month. So it is not wrong. We're not wrong to use the Etsy statement. We're very right to use the Etsy statement because it shows us our true cash picture. And that's what we want represented in our bookkeeping. Okay. So how do we fix it? What do we do when we have a difference and we hand our 1099 to our tax preparer and they're like, well, what about this difference? Instead of just leaving a difference for your tax preparer to worry about, we're going to post a reversing entry, okay? So a reversing entry is an accounting thing. Just trust me. This is a genuine accounting thing that accountants do. And I'm going to show you how to do it because it's actually pretty easy. So our reversing entry, we're going to post an entry on 12/31 and then we're going to reverse it on 1/1/21. Okay, so our entry on 12/31/20, because of the way we need our difference to go, okay, which will most likely be the way that your difference goes as well. We are going to debit, actually, let's do the credit part first. So Etsy sales needs to be increased, right? Because our 1099 amount is higher than our profit and loss. So we are going to credit Etsy sales for the 109.50 and debit Etsy bank, okay? And then we're going to reverse it on 1/1/21. We're going to, I didn't reverse it. I meant to reverse it and I didn't reverse it. We are going to debit No, I did reverse it. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing things funny. Okay. So we're going to reverse it. Instead of crediting Etsy sales, we're going to debit Etsy sales for the exact same amount. And we're going to credit Etsy Bank for the $109.50 where we had debited it before. And the reason why we're doing this, the reason why we bother with reversing it, is because since we're including this Etsy sale in 2020, if we don't reverse it, when we do our Etsy 2021 January entry, we're including that $109.50 in that entry because remember, it appeared in the statement. We are going to use this January 2021 statement, and it also includes that $109.50. So if we just did the entry on December 31st and included Etsy sales and didn't reverse it, we'd end up counting the $109.50 twice. Also, by reversing the entry, we don't mess up our Etsy bank balance as of the end of January of 2021. So when we go to tie out our ending Etsy bank balance in QuickBooks to that in Etsy, because we reverse the entry, we're still going to tie out at the end of that month. Okay? So, I mean, there's not too much more to explain about reversing entries. I'm sure it seems strange. I'm sure this feels like you're a bit in the weeds. But honestly, this is exactly what we want to be doing at the end of the month so that we can tie to our 1099 very easily. So let's post the entry and see how it works. I'm going to go to New Journal Entry. And the journal entry as of 12/31/20 is going to be to Etsy Bank, debit $109.50, credit Etsy sales, and this was actually, so I can find it a little easier. This is example B, Etsy sales of $109.50, okay? Save and close. So now let's take a look at example B. Now we have $73,026 in Etsy sales. So let's go back to here. If we had now $73,026 in Etsy sales, and down here we added the $73,026 plus our shipping income. If we take our sales tax collected, and if we sum the two. Now we get $74,244.41, which agrees to our 1099. So then all I would do in QuickBooks, new journal entry. I'm going to find that last entry that I did, the one right here, and I would put in the description, reversing entry to tie to 1099. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to switch accounts. I'm going to do example B, Etsy sales as the debit, and Etsy Bank, as the credit. Oh, but I didn't change the date, except you should change the date to 1/1/21. Otherwise, it's not going to take effect, okay? Okay, so that's how we do it. That's how we're tying to the 1099. Most of the time, you are going to tie to the penny if you're using my method to the 1099. The only time you're going to run into trouble is when you've got those late night shoppers on 12/31 or last minute shoppers last day of the year. And those are the sales that are going to cause you a very minor difference. And hopefully you understand how to correct that very minor difference, or adjust for it, I should say, because we really, our numbers are good. Our numbers are solid. We just have to deal with this timing difference. It's just a timing difference between the two reports. So we're going to adjust our profit and loss to account for that timing difference so that when we present our information to our tax preparer, he has no questions for us, or she. They know exactly how things tie out to the 1099, and they are pleased as punch that you are their tax client. So, as always, let me know if you have questions in the comments. I do my best to answer as many questions as I can. If this was helpful to you, I would so appreciate your like and your subscribe and your support. Join my mailing list and get other great helpful tips delivered right to your inbox. Thank you so much and have a great day.